All right, man. What's good, everybody? So, TTV Network, like, share, and subscribe. Salute to everybody for tapping on in. And I want to talk about this because I talked about Charlie Sheen yesterday and just, you know, how horrible of an individual he is and how he has really ducked any real severe punishment for all of his mishaps throughout his life, right? Uh, as far as prison time and things like that, I think it's absolutely disgusting. But I want to get into this as Charlie Sheen has faced legal trouble over the years. Primarily, it was related to his drug abuse and his domestic violence charges, which I think should have already put his ass in prison for a substantial amount of time. But he's always managed to basically duck and avoid, real prison time because he's always used either a combination of plea deals or went to rehabilitation programs, and he's had legal leniency, which I think is bullshit in Charlie Sheen's case, right? The guy who came out here talking about winning, that clown, right? Who's out here acting all braggadocious in a new memoir when, man, it's sickening. How can you be out here in a new memoir acting braggadocious after all the shit he's been through? Just disgusting, but let's get into it. So he had the 98 domestic violence and drug charges where he was convicted of serious felonies, right? Related to drug and domestic abuse charges. This was early in his career, y'all. Now, he served over 2 months in prison in 98, but this was a relatively short sentence for serious charges, likely due to his plea bargaining and his status as a high-profile actor and agreements to seek rehabilitation. Scumbag. But this is how they let these dudes get off. And this is one of these guys. Also, the 2010 plea deal he had for another domestic violence situation. Now, in 2010, he had faced charges that stemmed from a domestic violence incident that involved his then wife, who went by the name of Brooke Mueller, and remember, Aspen, Colorado. Now, he pled guilty to a misdemeanor assault charge as a part of a plea deal, and instead of a lengthy prison sentence, he was sentenced to only 30 days in jail with the possibility of serving only about 15 days with quote unquote, they call good behavior, man. Now, that plea deal allowed him to avoid felony charges, and his jail time was structured so it wouldn't interfere with his filming the schedule for Two and a Half Men, that movie. Now, the rehabilitation and fake ass public persona and his history of entering rehabilitation programs also played big roles in mitigating harsher, right, penalties, which is lowering harsher penalties on him. Now, the courts often favor treatment over incarceration for non-violent offenders, but this dude was put in for domestic violence, especially high-profile individuals with resources to pursue rehab. His public acknowledgement of his addiction and efforts to get clean, which don't a lot of people don't buy that bullshit, such as his sobriety milestone in 2019, may have swayed judicial decisions towards leniency for this clown. Now, also, his financial and legal resources were crazy because as a high-earning actor, right, notably the highest-paid TV star at $1.8 million per episode for Two and a Half Men, Charlie Sheen had access to top-tier legal representation. Now, his ability to pay fines, restitutions, and settlements, right, for an example, in the case of the alleged extortion related to his personal life, it likely helped resolve issues outside of his criminal penalties. Now, his public influence, his status as being a Hollywood star, they call him, may have contributed to him having lighter sentences as well. The entertainment industry's reliance on him for major projects like Two and a Half Men could have influenced legal outcomes, of course, considering the impact of incarceration on his career and related economic factors. To me, it's bullshit because if you're doing crimes, what does your career, what does your resume have to do with you committing crimes? If you're a criminal, you're a criminal. Your career shouldn't matter. If you're violating people, you're violating people. What does your career matter? Oh, because he got to go shoot a TV show, a TV series, we're going to let him off easy. Nah, ain't buying that shit, man. So this is how Charlie Sheen, the, perennial scumbag, has always gotten off whenever he's been in trouble, man. It's just sad to see that, this type of stuff has went on, but it does. And Charlie Sheen has been a major benefactor of the bullshit. He's been a major benefactor of being a celebrity, being a white celebrity, and being able to, you know, get off in these certain situations where he should have been locked down and locked the F up. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Hey, I really appreciate you guys for supporting the channel, supporting the network.